writing for you, you must have in mind also. Now, if you're going to be a Sofer Stam, you need to have an idea what you're going to write. If you're going to write Tefillin Parshiot, which are actually short pieces from the Torah, you need a copy of those passages open right in front of you, so that you can copy it letter for letter. It's called a Tikkun. A Tikkun is a book which has a sacred Torah written in it. Now that the Sofer knows what he's going to write, he has to come up with the right tools for the job. Well, first of all, we need something to write on. And we don't use paper. We use parchment made from animal skins called cloth. What's wrong with paper anyway? Nothing much with this. Cloth, on the other hand, is a different story. You get the idea. It's difficult to tear. Now we have to decide which animal skins are permitted for us to make cloth out of. Deer skin is very good. For many years, deer skin was the most popular skin used for writing Tefillin, Mezuzot, or Sifrei Torah. We can also use goat skin or sheep skin for cloth.
So we can't use cow skin to make cloth, just use fish. We'll talk about that later. What about pig skin? Can we use it? It's not kosher, but where do you say that cloth has to be made from a kosher animal? It says so in the Torah.
The very first parchment in our Tefillin includes the verse from Parshat Bo from Sefer Shemot. והיה לך לאות על ידך וזיכרון בין עיניך למען תהיה תורת השם בפיך כי ביד חזקה הוציאך השם ממצרים. Here the Torah is telling us that we should wear tefillin as a sign, and then in order that the Torah of Hashem should be in your mouth.
So that means anything to do with tefillin has to be something that goes with Jews' mouth. That means it has to be kosher. So, nope. We can't use pigskin for anything to do with making tefillin.
What about kosher birds? Can you make cloth or tefillin with bird skin? Yes, it's more difficult, but you can. And what about the skin of a kosher fish? It's not allowed. The Gemara tells us it's a zoyma, unclean. It also wouldn't be easy. We can take the scales off all right, but fish are very oily. So oily that the writing would just come off. Actually, there's oil on the skin of any animal. We have to remove the oil and the hair and let the writing dry. It's part of the halachic process. La beta ta'or. Okay, what else do we need now that we have a cloth? Ink. In Hebrew, dio. The ink is made of some pretty interesting ingredients. First, some burnt wood to make it black, some soap use cornstarch to make it thick, and some gum base. The gum is important because it makes ink rubbery and elastic. If the ink is stiff, the letters will just crack and fall off and fold all over the cloth. But the gum base makes sure that the ink stays and moves with the cloth. Okay, we got the cloth to write on, and ink for writing. Now all the sofa uses something to write with. He uses a pumice. A pumice is made out of a reed or a feather. Feathers are kosher. And even then, chicken's feathers aren't big enough, so we have to go with feathers from a goose or a turkey. That makes these feathers pretty easy to get, but they're hard to prepare. Let's take a closer look at the pumice. It has a slit, almost right down the middle. That slit allows the ink to flow onto the cloth correctly. It also has a pocket. The pocket holds the ink. It's very important because if the sofer writes God's name, Shem Hashem, he must write that word with just one dip into the ink. Each letter the sofer writes has its own special theme. A shin, for example, has to have letters on top like a roof, one on each part of the shin. If even one is missing, it's not kosher. A chet is connected with a line at the top. If that line is weak or missing, someone might think it's a Vav and Zion, or Zion and Vav. Say we have a letter, and we can't tell if it's a Dalet or a Resh. Traditionally, what we do is go and ask a teenager, or a young child, that just learned how to read. Because a young child that just learned how to read, the form of the letters are fresh in his mind. We cover the letters from both sides, so that the child can't read the whole word, and show him the letter. If he says it's a Dalet, and it's supposed to be a Dalet, then it's okay. But if he says it's a Dalet, and it's supposed to be a Resh, we have a problem. If something is wrong in the Sefer, usually we can fix it. Now, if the sofer writes a letter wrong in filling, the problem is more serious. You see, in filling, there is a law of kissing lam. Every letter has to be written in its proper order, in its proper place.
So, for instance, I wrote the first two letters of the mitzvah, not Israel, and then mistaking the iron, I can erase each letter back in Israel, fix the iron, and continue writing the mitzvah in order, as we said. But if I write Shema Hashem, God's name, well, we can't erase God's name, that's not committed. And this mitzvah, it has to be placed in the mitzvah, ritually disposed of, and together we use a thing.
If, for example, a sofer writes a letter Resh, and a line below it, he writes a Lamed. And if the line of the Lamed comes into the Resh, what letter does that reflect? And if he puts a hoof into a kasha, and it's not supposed to be there, then it's not kosher. So every time you write you have to check it. And have it checked again, I want to teach you the absolute is well. Remember, if you're filling a 99% kosher, you're 100% kosher.